How to change your oil on a 2015 to 2020 WRX. If you recently drove the vehicle, you'll want to let it cool down some so you don't burn your hands on the oil. If you haven't driven the vehicle in a while, I like to start it and let it run for 3 or 4 minutes, so let the oil warm up some so that it'll pour out more easily, but not to full operating temperature to where it's scalding hot. Alright, so there's not a whole lot of spots to lift this thing up by, because I'm not sure if that's factory or aftermarket, because it's clearly aluminum, but you definitely can't jack it up by that. So this first piece here is plastic. Behind it is the metal frame or what have you, which is where I lifted it from, and then stuck my jack stand under there. Now I lifted it from the passenger side because your oil drain plug is on the driver's side. So lifting it from the passenger side will allow more of the oil to drain out. Okay, so here's from underneath. That is your oil drain plug. In between this shield thing, if yours has it, and this cross member, but that's your drain plug. For me, it's a 9/16, which may or may not be the factory size. Some people will change their oil plug and it'll have a different size head on it. But okay, while that's draining, we can go ahead and take the oil filter off. So this is a treat for me. I'm used to having to get the oil filter from the bottom and get an oil filter wrench on it, but oh man, somebody didn't tighten that down enough. So there's your oil filter. I would say you probably want to wipe that up, especially, look at all that shit. You do not want that going in there. I mean, that's what the filter's for, but I'm going to clean this up. Okay. Put a new one on. Definitely going to make it tighter than it was. Just hand tight. But it should be a little more tight than that other one was. That might be a while that, well, I guess there's this lip here, but there was dirt and stuff in where the filter was, so it could have been because they didn't have it tight enough. Okay, all the oil drained out pretty quickly since we have the car leaning to the side of the plug. So now we'll go ahead and put our drain plug back in. Torque spec is 34 foot-pounds of torque, or if you don't have a torque wrench, just snug it down on there good, but not over tight when you strip out the threads. Okay, so unlike other cars where you have to account for a different amount of oil to add to the engine whether or not you change the oil filter, and this one you don't because it's on the top, so it automatically drains into the engine once it's off. So it's 5.4 quarts. Give it a couple minutes for the oil to run all the way down to the oil pan. There is your minimum line. There's your full line. Okay. So you see those little lines of oil? That is not your measurement. Only where it completely covers the stick. So this is just a little bit under completely full. So any other car where the oil filter was on the bottom, you would want to run it for a minute and then shut it off and then wait a minute and then check it, because the filter will take some of the oil. But since it's on the top, it's not really going to occur. Anything that does go in that new filter is, like, with it being on top, it's going to immediately drain out, so that shouldn't affect your oil reading.